Hey guys, welcome back to the pod.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in.
We talked in episode 1 about how episode 2 was going to be all things wedding, but Blake and I decided that we were going to go a different route. There are just so many moving pieces to our wedding stuff that we kind of wanted to sit with it and then decide how we wanted to talk about it. So we're going to do that for sure in a later episode. We're just not going to tackle that for episode 2.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that don't really know too much about my injury, so we figured let everyone know that tunes in.
So episode 2 is going to be me interviewing Blake about his neck and his back injury, and also giving life updates on what's been going on since we recorded the last episode.
Yes, we also have a podcast name.
Oh yeah, we do. See, there are so many updates to give. Do you want to share the name?
Yeah, so our podcast name is Almost Odom, and for everyone...
Almost Odom with Phoebe and Blake.
Yes.
Okay. That's the whole name.
Whoops. But yes, so everyone that is tuning in that is newer to the channel, you will see older videos aside from the podcast, and those are my older gaming videos. But yeah, I figured why not just convert the channel instead of starting a newer one.
Yes. So you can find us on YouTube. We are exclusively posting on YouTube simply because it's just the audio, and at some point we will integrate video into it, but we're in the beginning stages of podcasting anyways, so we figured that audio is good enough for now.
Yes, but we're very excited for this wonderful adventure with you all.
Yes. So shall we get into the interview part?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So Blake, take us back to January 14th. What happened?
Well, it was a very cold and a wintry day, frozen snow everywhere, and we were at a house that their driveway, it was at a slope, but there was just ice everywhere. It was kind of splotchy as well, and yeah, kind of like long story short, to drag it out instead of dragging it out, I fell on some black ice and I fell directly on my back.
What is black ice?
So black ice, from my standpoint, would be, it's just water that's frozen, but it's super slippery. So it just looks like it's water on the ground, even though it's not.
Did you guys know that water that's frozen is ice? Black ice looks like a wet spot. And it is something that's very common here. A lot of people slip on black ice. A lot of people slip on ice in general. But black ice does look like a wet spot. And that is what Blake is saying that he slipped on in this driveway. So you slip and you fall. Then what happened?
So after the fall, I just sat there for about 5 seconds to collect myself. And then I got back up, went to let the person that I was training with know what had happened. And yeah, that was that. Went on with my day.
So you did tell the person you were with that you fell?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell your fiance that you fell?
I did not.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that later. So you go about your day. You didn't come home. You didn't go back to headquarters. You didn't rest. You didn't report it.
No, I mean, went to the shop and then went home from there.
Okay. And so then for the next several days, you still didn't tell your fiance that you fell.
I did not.
Okay. And then that Sunday, what happened?
Sunday, I started feeling very, very sore.
In just your back?
Back and neck.
Oh, okay. And at that point, when you had soreness in your back and your neck, did you tell your fiance then that you fell at work?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Just want everybody to keep track of the record here. He fell on Wednesday, and we're at Sunday at this point, and I still don't know about a fall at work. Moving on. Monday, you go to work. What happens?
So every day we do a stretching exercise before we get the day started. So we were doing our morning stretch and went down for a stretch. And right as I went down for that stretch, I felt a pop and a burning sensation right away.
And after the pop and after the burning sensation, then what did you do?
In my head, I went, oh boy, this is not good. So I went to tell my manager.
And your manager said what?
He told me to go to urgent care to get checked out. So I went on my phone, Googled the closest urgent care to me, and that's where I went.
And what was your experience like at that urgent care?
It was terrible.
For people who are local, there's a urgent care in Hopkins that's right next to a Jet's Pizza and a Holiday gas station. And that's where Blake went. It would not be my preferred urgent care facility. We have great hospitals in the area with urgent cares and with emergency rooms. And I'm just not quite sure why he went there. But did you tell your fiance you were at the emergency room? Or I'm sorry, at the urgent care?
No,
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Okay. So you leave urgent care, you go back to work. You go about your day. And then there was no relief from the urgent care visit.
Not at all.
And so then you were sent back, correct?
Yes, I ended up going back, and they told me there was nothing else they could really do for me.
And so from there, you were referred to an orthopedic facility, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you finally told your fiance that you had fallen at work?
Yes.
And that it was more serious than just some soreness because you had to go to orthopedics?
Yep.
So over a week after that, you finally told her?
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
sure did.
Just making sure. So you make the initial visit for the orthopedic facility, and I go with to that one.
Yes, you came with me.
And they just wanted to understand what was going on, and they wanted to do an MRI. And your immediate response to the nurse who asked to do an MRI was what?
From a previous jaw surgery that I had, I was not able to do MRI.
Well, you thought
Well,
you
yes.
weren't able to do an MRI. And so I feel like that in itself has also sort of delayed this process, because what we've learned is an MRI and CT show very different things. And because of Blake's hesitancy to an MRI, even though he didn't actually know whether or not he could or not, it was just what he was told when he had his surgery, they weren't able to really tell, especially a CT without contrast. It was just a normal CT. So they weren't able to tell exactly what was going on, but they had ideas of how to pinpoint the pain and what to do to curb it at home. And so we left there with an understanding after the CT that we were going to get those results, and then we were going to make a game plan. What we haven't mentioned yet is that all of this is through workman's compensation. And I will say that the two adjusters that we've worked with so far have been amazing. They're super responsive. They check in all the time. They ask really good questions. Sometimes approving things takes a little bit longer, but other than that, we have no complaints. Or do you have any complaints?
No, not at all. The two that I have or had, if I have any question or anything, I send an email right, and within maybe an hour or two, I get a response. So
Yeah.
they've been very good.
Overall, that's been a really good experience.
Absolutely.
But with workman's compensation, it does take time, and you can call them on the phone and maybe they'll answer. They're best by email. But if we wanted to do physical therapy, any other appointments, it all has to be approved. It's not something you can just walk in and say, oh, you can bill workman's compensation. No, you actually can't do this appointment until they say it's okay. So we had that appointment. We went to a different facility to get the CT scans. Those took 2 business days or 3 business days. And then we had a follow-up. So then they could say, okay, we're targeting your back and your neck. Every time you went in, it was an assessment to test the strength in your back and the strength in your neck. And then we phased into physical therapy because their motto for the whole thing is they never, ever, ever want to do surgery unless it's 100% necessary to do so. They want to exercise all of their options before they do a surgery, which I can appreciate given our wedding's coming up in September and we're also spending time with Jackson this summer. So him not being in a point of recovery at that time, it was something that was important to us. So we did the physical therapy, and why don't you talk a little bit about your experience in physical therapy?
Physical therapy was very brutal for me. I will say, at the time of doing the physical therapy, the exercises, every time I went, it was something new and different. But for the time that we were doing it, I had a relief for maybe a couple minutes, and then after that, it was just soreness. So,
And what do you think was the hardest part of physical therapy?
Well, I'd say my last session, which made both of us kind of go like, let's slow down here. But my last one I went, and it was a different physical therapist. He had asked me about chiropractic work, and I had told him, once everything is good, depending on what I have to do, I'll look at that option later down the road, And he was like, oh no, we're going to do it today. And I had told him, that's fine, whatever, but don't do my neck. Because, from watching the videos on TikTok here and there, get kind of scared. And he did that anyways, popped my back, popped my neck, and I left out of there barely able to walk. It was brutal.
Yeah. And it was really surprising, I guess, to us that someone would administer chiropractic work on somebody who hadn't even seen the scans. And so that to us was sort of a red flag of like, okay, we need to pause. We need to reassess. We need to make sure that what we're doing is right for us. Right for Blake, but also for me, because I was going to all the appointments, driving with him to all the appointments, picking him up from work and taking him and being a part of the conversations and a part of the communication. So it was important to me that I was on the same page as his care team. And when you're messing with your neck and your back, it's serious. I mean, all injuries are serious. But your neck and your back can have lasting long-term impacts. And so we just wanted to be very sure with his care team, A, that we were doing the right thing, but B, that they had his best interest in mind. And when someone in physical therapy says, okay, we're going to do chiropractic work on somebody with a neck and a back injury, it really did throw up some red flags for us. So after that, well, we have to also insert here that during his time of physical therapy, Blake also got an epidural. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did get an epidural.
Before me, guys. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, way before for you. But, yeah, so we did an epidural. I think the day of. I'm usually not scared of shots, but I was a little worried about this one. I thought they were going to go in the center of the back with it, but they ended up going on the top of my spine. Everything was fine. They talked to me the whole time, and it was just like a little pinch, so it wasn't bad. Took about 9 days to kick in. I had relief for 3 days, and then it went back to just being in full pain, as if I never even got the epidural.
Yeah. So the point of the epidural was it is a steroid injection, and so what it was meant to do, and unfortunately it didn't do for Blake, is it's meant to cut the communication the telephone wire from your brain to your areas of pain saying, hey, this doesn't actually hurt, to try and help you work through physical therapy or whatever else your care team decides that you need to do for your injury. And it, like said, worked for a couple days, but you're supposed to experience relief for several weeks. And he did not get that. So we felt like that was a wasted shot, unfortunately.
Oh, absolutely.
But we finished the physical therapy, and then we had a follow-up with the PA. Again, we'd never talked to the surgeon who was assigned to Blake's case, even though they were in talks about doing surgery towards the end of his physical therapy. And we went into this knowing that he was going to have to do aggressive physical therapy for several weeks, 2 or 3 times a week, and then reassess. And if it's not working, then it was going to have to be surgery because they exercised all the options that they were going to provide. So we went into the last meeting with the PA, and she said they do want to perform surgery on your neck. And they wanted to start with the neck because that's where he's experiencing the most compression. The back is something that he can unfortunately deal with, right? Like the pain isn't that substantial, but his neck is causing nerve compression, which is causing numbness in his arms and his legs and his hands and his feet. And so that was the biggest area of concern. And so at that point, we decided to leave this care facility and reach out to a different facility, a very well-known facility here in the Twin Cities. And the reason being is because when they talk about surgery like that, my mother and my grandmother both have experience with a neurosurgeon. And if anybody was going to do any sort of work like that, it had to be this person for Blake. So why don't you talk about that initial meeting with the new doctor and what his thoughts were on the care that you have received so far?
Okay, so the new doctor met him. He's very nice. Very glad for the recommendation. But yeah, we told him everything that we did at the previous place, and he was not very happy at all. He looked like he was fuming mad.
Yeah, he was really displeased with the way they took care of Blake and the things that they suggested and how they were suggesting things without actually knowing what's going on, because he, like I said earlier, just did a regular CT. There was no CT with contrast. There was no MRI done. So they just were having him do all these crazy physical therapy exercises, epidural injections, meeting to talk about surgery without actually seeing what's going on in his neck and in his back. And so the first thing he said is, if we're going to do this, you need to get an MRI. And what was your response to that?
I told him I wasn't able to, and
he immediately pushed back.
Yeah.
Which I hope any competent doctor would ask questions. Why can't you get an MRI, Blake?
Yeah. So we told him, and then he said to find out what I actually had. And
he went as far as to say that we needed to reach out to the facility that he got his surgery done in 2019 and figure out exactly what's in his jaw. And that's exactly what we did. If you give us a direction, we will complete it to the best of our ability to make sure that we're doing this right. And that was never a conversation at the last facility. Like, oh, can you guys look into this actually to see what is in your mouth? And if it's actually a possibility, because that would be the preferred method so that we know what actually is going on. And so Blake's mom sent us the report from the surgery.
Yep.
And we found out what?
That I have titanium in my jaw. So.
Yes, it's all titanium,
Yep.
which is a positive, because then that means he can get an MRI done.
Yeah. So we scheduled the MRI. We did the MRI. I was a little nervous about it just from, all the years of being like, oh, I couldn't do it. So I had a little bit of nerves going into it, but it went very well.
And it was quick.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that was in the beginning of April?
Yeah.
I can't remember. That was in the beginning of April. And the second part of the request from the new neurosurgeon which we actually physically spoke with the neurosurgeon. He's the one giving us the instruction. He's the one reviewing Blake's previous care. He's the one deciding what the care plan is going forward. A much different experience than we've had before. The other piece of this was scheduling an EMG, and that took the longest to get approved by Workmen's Compensation, and it is the furthest booking in terms of scheduling. And that's what the guy told you on the phone, is that these schedule a month out. And we're like, crap.
Yeah, that's been bad.
So that's scheduled on April 23rd, Jackson's birthday.
Yep, Jackson's birthday. So
Jigglypuff is going to be 6.
yeah, he's going to be 6. I can't believe how quick time is going.
So after that, we will get the results from both, and we do have a follow-up scheduled the following Tuesday, just to give them time to get the results of the EMG. And then we can decide next steps from what he sees on the MRI and what he sees from the EMG.
Yeah, because it could be something totally different, and
Right.
we don't have to do surgery, or, we'll just have to see what he says, obviously.
Right. So what's your current state right now? Today is Wednesday, April 15th. What's your current state?
Well, I was very sore, had a lot of pain today, so yeah. I have good days and bad days. Some days I'm good. Some days I have to come home early, work half a day, can't go in. So yeah, I'm ready to get the process finished with, because this has been the worst amount of pain I've ever dealt with.
Are you on any prescription medication?
Yes, I take gabapentin 3 times a day.
And does that help?
Some days it does, some days it doesn't. Today it did not.
What else do you do to help with your pain?
I lay on a heating pad, which works very well for me. We also did try cold packs. For those didn't work very well for me. And I take a leave sometimes.
It was recommended to you too to switch in between hot and cold. Do you notice that helps at all?
For me, no. Mostly hot works for me, but we did try cold.
Are you doing any of your physical therapy exercises anymore?
No, I stopped just because the amount of pain that it was doing for me. So,
do you have any recommendations for anybody who is experiencing neck and back pain?
I would say, find what helps you the best way. Like I said, hot works for me. Cold may work for you. Physical therapy may work for you. Just find, what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. And unfortunately, with an injury like this, it is a lot of trial and error. But too, it's also pushing your body past its pain limit. And you've experienced that quite a bit at work, where you are on work restrictions. You are in the warehouse now. You're not in the field. Yeah. But even it being in the warehouse on very light restrictions, can't lift more than 10 pounds, can't bend at the waist. You can sit for an extended period of time. You can stand for an extended period of time. All of that, you yourself have had to figure out, well, I can sit for 10 minutes and I can stand for 10 minutes, but I can't do anything more than that. Or I can sit for a half an hour and stand for an hour, but then I have to sit down again. So it is a lot of trial and error and pushing your body past its limits and figuring out, like you said, what works best for you. So unfortunately, this process has been very long-winded. Like we said in the beginning of the episode, we've been doing this since January 14th, and there's literally no end in sight. Which makes us a little bit nervous because we're halfway through April. We're almost to May. We get Jackson in May. Our wedding is in September. So hopefully there's some sort of answer at the end of April of where we're headed. And have you thought about, and this is a question for me, but also for everybody listening, have you thought about, if they say surgery, are you going to do that right away, or are you going to wait?
It's a hard question because, depending on recovery time and everything, like say recovery time is super quick and I'm able to do it and be fine before the wedding, then I would probably do it. But if it's going to be, you got healing, probably physical therapy after and all that. So, it just depends. I'm on the fence about it. Like I said, it just depends on everything, but I probably would push it to the wedding, like after the wedding.
Oh, I see.
So,
And what if that's not an option?
and I have no idea. It's just
Then you
it's
have
hard
to
to
do it.
it's really hard to like say because we have no answers right now.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your neck and back injury to the people? You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I just thought I'd give you the floor in case there was something pressing that you needed to share.
Nothing really, just lots of pain. Everyone that's been in our circle that does know about the injury, I appreciate everyone's prayers and everyone helping out in the best way they can. So, yeah,
Yes.
if anyone's listening that has helped, and I appreciate you very much. And everyone new that's listening and has found out, yeah.
He would appreciate your prayers is what
Yes.
he's trying to say.
Yeah, I would appreciate everyone's prayers.
And he would appreciate you keeping him in your thoughts
Yes.
and sending him your well wishes and your good vibes.
Yes, absolutely. I would appreciate it very much.
Let's share quick life updates. What's going on in your world? Anything interesting?
Phoebe and I went to Hardy and Morgan Wallen, which was very fun.
It was so fun. And we sat next to the most funny two guys from Canada.
Yeah, they were really cool. They were but yeah, that was my first time seeing Hardy and Morgan Wallen, and it was it was an amazing show.
Yeah. I would not necessarily recommend US Bank in Minneapolis for a concert. I would recommend it for a football game. But the sound for a concert, and a lot of people, you can look up reviews, you can look on TikTok, you can ask people who have gone to concerts. A lot of people will tell you that the sound is horrific in US Bank Stadium for concerts, especially the higher you get in the stadium. It sounds like you're in an echoing chamber. Like my ears were hurting towards the end of the concert. And we did move down to the lower level, not because we were supposed to, but because my ears really couldn't handle it. But it was an incredible show.
Yeah,
We had a lot of fun.
That was probably the best concert I've been to. I mean, I've been to a lot, but that was the one I really enjoyed.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Anything else going on you want to talk about or share?
Like I said, we get Jackson here very soon. I am so excited to spend the summer with him, have him here. Can't wait. Very excited.
Yes. Remy is talking because she hasn't gotten any attention. So sorry for the whining, but she's a needy girl, aren't you? Aren't you? In my world, I've recently taken on a new passion project, which not a whole lot of people know about, but I'm helping people in my apartment complex communicate differently with management about concerns and issues that are happening at the property. So that's been keeping me very busy. And we're also still in the thick of wedding stuff, and that's getting closer and closer, which we're super excited about. Official invitations will go out in May, and I am asking if you receive an official invitation that before you put the invitation down, you RSVP to the wedding. Because I don't want to have to call you or text you or send you a certified piece of mail asking if you're coming. So please just RSVP. That would be fabulous. We also want to apologize for the delay in posting. We were going to do it on, what night were we going to do it?
We were going to upload on,
I think Mondays.
Monday.
Yeah. I think on Monday. I got a little busy, a little over my head in this passion project that I've taken on. And my work schedule doesn't necessarily allow for when I get home for any editing or re-recording of anything. So for those who called us out on YouTube, I'm really, really sorry, but it's on its way right now.
Yes.
We appreciate all of you and thank you so much for listening. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, concerns, feel free to comment them or send them our way. We'll see you next week. Bye.